This is how pages 3 and 4 looked at the end of the part 2 video. Most of what you see now will fall into the background as I work on bringing out the theme of the pages. I have decided to work with a mother-daughter's generations heritage theme. Again, this video will largely be a fast-forward format with voiceovers as I work through the project. I wonder what my mother and grandmothers would think if they saw this page on YouTube. Okay, I start out my page by writing in the quote. It says, "And shalt in thy daughter see, this picture once resembled thee." It is by Ambrose Phillips, who was an English poet. Get out my biggie black Faber-Castell marker and outline my altered sunflowers with black. So add some contrast to the page and it matches the quote. And then I decide I want that quote to be in more of a lighter text block. So I get out my Speedball white ink and I start blushing it in to make a journaling type block. It doesn't look like too much now, but I do remove a lot of that so that I have white in there, and it just adds some highlights to my text block. You'll see it'll change as I work on the page. I remove a lot of that white, but yet I leave some highlights in there. And here I have put the quote back in, and I'm drawing in layers of those flowers again. And I do this several times on the page, and I find that the more layers that I put in there, the more volume and depth that it gives to the page. They're kind of sketchy now, but I do get out my alcohol inks and blend in the sketchy lines. And I really like how that works. It feels like you're in a flower garden, in a bed of flowers. Now I'm blending everything in with my alcohol inks. I just feel like it adds a hint of a flower garden onto the page, and a lot of depth. Now I'm just bringing out that quote a little bit more. I left out the word thou. It's really, "and thou shalt in thy daughters see, this picture once resembled thee," but I intentionally took out the word thou. Now I'm adding some black blocks around the border of the page, just to kind of frame everything off. I do that on both sides. You'll see that this will change too as I work on the page. I add a gold line around the entire border of that text block. Now I get out that piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I sprayed with the doily with the Dilutions ink sprays, and I'm cutting out tags. I'm going to make tags 8 inches by 4 inches. And here's where the heritage part comes in. These are some pictures that I did, I would say 3 or 4 years ago, and I did them all in a sepia color, and they're not very clear, so I just stuck them in my stash and said I'll use them someday. And I think they go really good on this page. So here I'm cutting the borders and angling the corners off of my pictures, just building up the tags. Use my crocodile to punch the holes in the top of the tags there. Now I have this remnant of yellow upholstery fabric that has some pink roses on it, and I go, well, this works really well, so I cut squares and to use as a mat behind the pictures, and I use both weld bond glue and score tape. I find the score tape holds the pictures in place while the glue is drying. I do all 4 of my tags, and then I get out some ribbon. It's kind of a scarlet ribbon and a brown velvet ribbon, and some of that lacy curtain material fabric that I have. And I'm cutting out pieces of lace as embellishment. Those end up going on the back. Those little lace pieces end up going on the back. I'm kind of fiddling with them, deciding what I want to do with the tag. I end up deciding that on each one of my tags, that little curved floral piece will go at the bottom of each one of the pictures as sort of a little lacy necklace at the bottom of each picture. So I collage it all down on each one of my pictures. Now I'm getting ready to tie the ribbons through each one of the tags, and on the first tag I actually tie that scarlet ribbon, but I find that it adds so much bulk to the tag, and I don't want my book to be that bulky, that what I end up doing is using the tiny attacher to attach those ribbons down. I think you'll see that on this one. Right there. I use my tiny attacher to attach those ribbons down. You can see I cut little angles out of each one of the ends of those ribbons. Now I am outlining some flowers that I cut out of each one of those text blocks, and I'm also bordering each of the tags with my black biggie pen, and then on the back you'll see that I put that black ink clear across each one of the backs to sort of bring out the embossed area. That works really nice, builds up the background of each tag. Now I'm collaging each one of those little sunflowers that I cut out of those text blocks down at the bottom of each picture on the front of the tag. Just adds more character to the tag, and it goes with the whole theme of the page. This is a mother-daughter heritage theme. I'm really happy with how these are turning out. Now I just want just a little bit more embellishment on the front of the tag, so I cut some more of those little lacy florals out of my fabric and attach it to each one of my tags. Now I'm getting ready to work on the back of the tags, and I'm going to use those text blocks again, and I border each one of them with black. And you'll see here where I spray them with dilution spray and dry them off, and then I write mother, daughter, grandmother on each one of the squares and put the name on there, but you don't. I did that offline because my head gets in the way. And then I attach a piece of that lace in each one of the squares on the back of the tags as embellishment. And then what you're seeing there are some little snippets where I angled my ribbons up at the top of the tag, so I have all these little snippets left over, so I use them as corners for that lace on each one of the backs of the tags, and it works out really nice. Now I'm demonstrating to you how I cut out those flowers and roses. You can see up at the top of my white sheet there I have a whole stack of them, and I'm going to embellish my pages with them. And so I'm just cutting out a couple of sunflowers. I hand drew them on there, and then I'm just fussy cutting them out. And I do both roses and sunflowers. Those are the sunflowers, and here are the roses that I'm fussy cutting out. And then I'll outline each one of those flowers with my biggie black Faber-Castell pen. just adds a lot of contrast to the page. So I have all those done. And then on the other side of the page, I decide that I have this piece of lace left that I'm going to embellish my photo pocket there. So I collage that down. And now I cut out a piece of acetate, clear acetate, and I angle it, and then I use score tape to attach it to the lower right hand corner of my page, and that's going to be a pocket to hold a couple of those tags. And I'm collaging down those sunflowers and roses down right over the bottom of the page, right over that acetate. Works out really nice. And as I'm collaging, of course, those dilution sprays are not permanent, so some of the dilutions rubs off onto my clear acetate, but I go, well, that's okay. I'm going to use the Mod Podge to kind of hold some spray. Then you'll see me spray it here after I get done collaging down my flowers. So right over that clear acetate that has Mod Podge on it, I spray right there. I spray some of that dilutions. That worked out really well. I like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing over around my photo pocket. I'm collaging down sunflowers and roses. It also adds a lot of depth. D-E-P-T-H, depth to the page. It's a lot of work to cut out all those sunflowers and roses, draw them and fussy cut them all. Took me a little bit of time. Now I decide to touch up that photo pocket with some yellow dilutions. Now I'm just working around the border of the page with my black Sharpie pen. You see I have a gold line around the border too. Just adds a gold frame around the page. And there are my tags. I put a little gold on each one of the tags. This page is really coming out. I'm finishing up the quote by taking sort of an orange, brownish orange biggie marker and adding some color around each one of the words in that quote. And shout in thy daughter's sea, this picture once resembled thee. That's a quote by Ambrose Phillips. I write his name when I sign my page. Now I'm just adding some more color to the background of the page, just touching everything up. I really like how this page turned out in the long run. Putting on the finishing touches. Okay, here is the finish. Now I am showing this with my smartphone held in my hands, so you're going to see some shaking. I'm trying to get up close to show you some of the detail of the roses and the flowers. The colors are a little bit brighter than what they are in real life. It's more of a rust tone. There I'm showing you all those little flowers that I fussy cut out of the text blocks in my photo packet, how my tags fit into that photo envelope, the border of the page. Now I'm kind of going out a little. Now the colors looking a little bit more like it does in real life. I think the color, by the way that I hold my camera, the color kind of changes as I move my camera around, the lighting. Now I'm showing you here how those tags fit into that pocket on the right hand side. That's a clear acetate pocket, and then they just fit right in there. And it shows the sunflower behind it, and then the tags, when I put them in that clear acetate, you can see the tags behind it. That's my grandmother and my mother. My grandmother there, and then my mother is in front. I think my mother, though they're both pretty ladies. My mother I thought was really pretty when she was younger. Well, she was pretty when she was older too. Then here's the tags. This is my great-grandmother. And me behind there. So there are all four. Great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, and daughter. It's a heritage, mother, daughter, generations heritage page. Now I'm just going to put the tags to the side so you can see the quote behind there and see the two-page layout without the tags on there. And shalt in thy daughter see this picture once resembled thee. Now at the end of this segment, I'll show where I sign the page. I put the Ambrose Phillips, who wrote the quote, and I put his name on there as the author of the quote, and then I sign the page and date it. I'm just putting the tags away now. I was afraid these tags were going to be bulky on the page, but not so. It works out pretty nice. Okay, I'm getting ready to sign my name and write the author of the quote, who's Ambrose Phillips. You can see I already, right under the word "the," I already started writing his name, and I had to go back in and print over it. I had a little bit of trouble with the pens writing on the Mod Podge. I found that the Faber-Castell pens work the best. Sign my name and date it as March 14th, 2014. So I hope that you've really enjoyed watching me create this page. If you have, please subscribe to my channel. And I will see you on the next page.